members, you are heavy on my heart. And it seemed like I was going back with my wife about some things, and we be talking about scriptures. But I noticed that this scripture was dealing directly with our assignment in the house. So I have to talk about that. But within that assignment, there's one thing I have learned. I'm going to have to tell a story, which might be something that we probably skip around. I'll save it towards the end. But actually, let me break a foundation for you guys to understand this. You notice I like getting up. I like building the foundation. So I start off kind of like in a story, just to get you to understand what I'm trying to take you. We're going to be in Judges 13. We're going to be dealing with Samson today. Judges 13, we're going to be dealing with Samson. Now, Norman Bishop is the one that said he has a series, but God put it in my mind. I said, you know what, this can be a series because I can deal with two parts of this thing. I know we like to deal with Samson, but I'm going to start off dealing with the mother. All right, then I want you to take this note. Ones that take notes, we throwing them out there early. The topic, the value of a God thing. The value of a God thing. Because a lot of times, see, in the natural, we're going through things. In the natural, there's things happening in your life. We're fighting for stability. We're fighting to advance in society. We're acquiring things, new things, whether it's relationships. We're going through all these things in the natural. But God comes along and gives you something spiritual in the midst of all that. But a lot of times what we do is while we're in that struggle for our natural, we forget about the spiritual. We forget about how to handle what God has given us, the value of a God thing. So when we talk about, increasing in your finance, when we talk about money and all that other stuff, you have to be in tune with what God has given you. That's part of your assignment. That's when you know your purpose. So I'm going to read this real quick. In 13 and 1. It said again, the Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistines, who oppressed them for 40 years. Now mind you, listen how I start. Again, the Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistines, who oppressed them for 40 years. Then it says, in those days and two, a man named Manoah from the tribe of Dan lived in the town of Zorah. His wife was unable to become pregnant, and they had no children. The angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife, and said, even though you have been unable to have children, you will soon become pregnant and give birth to a son. Now check out the instructions. So be careful. You must not drink wine or any other alcoholic drink, nor eat any forbidden food. You will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and his hair must never be cut, for he will be dedicated to God as a Nazarite from birth. I'm going to go back real quick. For he will be dedicated to God as a Nazarite from birth. He will begin, look what the birth will do. He will begin to rescue Israel from the Philistines. We're going to do one again. 1 and 13, it says, again, the Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistines, who oppressed them for 40 years. Then we're going to jump down to 5 in the latter portion. And then it says in the latter portion, round 5, and the latter portion of that, he said, for he will be dedicated to God as a Nazarite from birth. He will begin to rescue Israel from the Philistines. Now remember when we was talking about in one was talking about that because of the evil that they did, God allowed them to be handed over to the Philistines, and that they was under their rule for like 40 years. But then, for one, the angel came to a woman that was barren, could not have a child, and told her, you're going to birth a child. Now, slow the story down. You don't read where she asked to become pregnant.
Right.
You don't read where, see, this is a different story. She wasn't on her knees begging for a child. So I'm not going to say she was comfortable in her barren state, but you don't hear any other story where she was complaining.
No.
Wow.
What I'm trying to show somebody is that God has no respect of person when he's trying to get his assignment done. He has no respect of person. So no matter where you came from, what your background, see, a lot of times, many of us was doing what everybody else was doing. Many of us had no inkling that we can achieve these type of things, these God-like type of things. So a lot of us don't, see, a lot of us can't tap into the supernatural. That's why a lot of people can walk around and just be ordinary. It's hard to preach to people and say that you are an extraordinary being. And, you know, because one thing in your mind, you still look at yourself as common. You still look at yourself as normal. You still look at yourself as average. But you don't understand you're doing things that other people are not doing. You're doing supernatural things. So what are you talking about? Anytime that you can get on your knees and pray and get a prayer across, you're doing supernatural things. Anytime when you can sit up here and begin to help others, with not by your strength, but because of the strength of God, you are doing supernatural things. Anytime when your world is invaded and now your thought process has changed, you are doing supernatural things.
Yes.
I mean, God has produced and brought out of us great things that normally, if we did not encounter God, we would not be doing at this time.
Amen.
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 We would not be doing these certain things at this time. Now, mind you, she did not ask for this thing. This thing came along and told her this was going to happen for you. What I love about God, if you roll through your Bible, for some reason, he loved working with barren women. She's not the only one. I mean, you just start thinking this is going to be a test. Go through your Bible and realize what womb of a barren woman did God touch to get his work done.
Wow.
So God loved work. See, God liked working in the impossible. It's impossible to have a child. Trust me, I know. My wife had the same conversation with me. Like, look, I've been in the world, couldn't get pregnant. I don't even know if I can even bear you a child.
Wow.
So we decided we'll just put it in the hands of the Lord. She had to stop them. So she got the two, was like, you know, we're going to have to close the womb because of her age and all. So she was telling me, look, I had process. I was in a relationship. No child was able to be produced from it. I'm coming to you to let you know this may be an issue on the table. She told me this before we got married. This may be an issue on the table that I believe I may not be able to have children. All right, cool. So we left it in the hands of the Lord. Next thing you know, babies just kept popping up to the point where she was like, oh, we going to have to stop this. But I'm showing you, I'm giving you an example that God would take the impossible and make something possible. We're talking about extraordinary things. We're not talking about ordinary things. See a lot of our mindset. If you notice that you ever venture into the business arena and you ever hear their conversation and how they talk, you will be amazed how spiritual it is. I'm here to tell you a lot of their links are spiritual, and they spent it to the point where they won't say certain names, but trust me, it did come from a God base. Now, when we talk about the value of a God thing, God invaded her world. She was not asking for a child, and an angel came to her and said, you're going to have a child. But see, what we have to learn, God is not giving you something for nothing.
Hallelujah.
The value of a God thing. See, this is how you put value to something that God has given you when you realize the worth of it. See, you realize that God is not doing just anything for nothing. See, we got so used to that God is just giving money away for nothing. That God is just giving everything away. I know we didn't have nothing to do with salvation, but it cost God something. If it didn't cost me nothing, it cost God something. And then when Jesus got on the cross, if it didn't cost me nothing, it cost him something. So what I'm trying to show you is now when the blessing of God has fallen into your hands, the next work is for you to do it. It's for you to protect it. It's for you to defend it. It's for you to sit up here and put value to it.
Yes, it is.
It's for you to put value to it. See, many of us are not valuing the things that God has given us. It has changed my whole mindset. I've been so frustrated at times where I'm just irate and just mad. And because God has blessed me so much, it just stopped me in mid-form while my rate. And said, God, because you blessed me, I can't get this mad, God, because I still see your blessing. God, I can sit up here and complain all day, but God, I'm not going to complain over your blessings. I'm not going to complain when I woke up this morning. I'm not going to complain when you pulled my child out of an accident. I'm not going to complain, God, when my mother and my father is sitting in the church. I'm not going to complain, God, when you deliver my whole family. See, this little thing right here shall pass. But God, you want to still get all the glory while I'm going through. I learned to bless God in spite of the value of a God thing. So what God put in her was not just for nothing. Then when you get down to 5, it said, then he would start the deliverance of Israel. Samson, you got to read Samson. It's only 3 chapters. Samson always was a character, or a person, not a character, a person in my Bible that confused me. Because a lot of people lift up Samson, and it's hard to read Samson's story and understand his struggles. And then they hear God say, you're going to be the one to start deliverance of Israel. And then when you read this story, you will find out that actually he did do what God said do. But I'm here to tell somebody, you can love God in your struggle, or you can love him without struggle.
That's good.
I love it.
See, when you sit in the pew, you just have to observe. See, everything, you don't have to go through the same trial someone else goes through. Sometimes you just have to pay attention close enough and say, you know what? I'm not going to do it that way. I've seen so many people love God to the point where they can't let him go, but they will struggle throughout the whole relationship with God, in and out, up and down, backsliding, loving God, putting him down one day and picking him back up the next day, but the whole time could not let God go, could not totally let him go. But they will show up in church and they struggle. They will show up in the church when the whole church know their flaws and their downfall. They will show up to church and still know that everything I did was wrong, but they still trying to lift their hands. They still trying to praise God. Now the sad part is that they never learned. It seems like they never learned the lesson. It seems like they just can't get right. But I admire their comeback. I admire their passion to say, God, I know I'm jacked up right now. I know I'm in and out, but God, I'm still holding on. See, a lot of times it's easy to let go. A lot of times it's easy just to give up. A lot of times it's easy to say, I turn my back on God. But what when you that kind of person that say, I'm still loving you, God?
Yes, in spite of it.
Exactly.
Jesus.
No matter what.
No matter what. But the sad thing is, you'll look at that individual and say, wow. And we talked about it earlier. If only you follow God's principles, the struggle that you have would not be there. What is the purpose of a test?
That's right.
What is the purpose of a test?
To pass it. To pass it.
To prove that you have learned what someone had already set up there and told you. The purpose of a test to come your way, you sit in the class, that test is not, they're not bringing nothing different on the table that you haven't learned before. The test is necessary to see how much of it you retain, how much you got of it, so that's why they got the grades for you to know that you pass it, etc., etc. Many people take these tests and going through the same thing because you act like, and this is the sad part, and this is why I can't let nobody get away from this. You act like you never heard the right way to do this thing. You act like that no one can, there's warning before destruction. You act like that no one preached before you, ministered before you, taught before you, and told you don't go down this road. But yet you still went down that road. But yet you still want to go down that course. And we try to tell people that road is hard. We try to tell people that road going to cost you something. That road going to hurt. But yet some people still want to go down those roads.
My God. That's good.
So even when I bring up Samson, I'm dealing with the mother because what God placed in her, he placed something that was needed for deliverance. So what I'm trying to tell someone today is what you have inside of you is needed for something on the outside to manifest. It's needed. Whether it's going to change this ministry, what is going to change life. So what I'm trying to tell you now, the next part, what was so crazy, he told her, now he invaded her world. She was fine. He invaded her world and told her, you're going to have a child. But check this out. Now you got to live up to standards because of what is placed inside of you. Now you have to live up to a higher level. Before, she was walking not with the Nazarite vow. She was just living an ordinary life. Now, how you want to come along, invade my world, and place a God thing inside of me? But see, that's how valuable what's inside of you is.
Yes.
Wow. So what are you trying to say? What I'm trying to tell someone today is, get acquainted with your God thing. Start loving on your God thing. What I love about women, and when you go through the period of when they're pregnant, they don't wait till the baby to come out to start having relations with the baby. They be rubbing the baby when the baby's not even on the scene. They're already getting a relationship with the child before they even come out. They don't wait till it come out. They're already talking to it. Oh, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that today? Oh, you moving around today. So what I'm trying to tell you, that God thing that's inside of you, you have to get a relationship with it to know its purpose. And once when you know its purpose, you have to realize that you are more valuable right now. It would change my lifestyle in order for you to work right. Why? Because when I'm looking in this ministry, many of you have birthed something already. And many of you got some things that's already in the natural. So what are you trying to say, preacher? But now your natural man have to get in line with what you're carrying and what you're responsible for. I know it seems hard. Same thing about this lady. She did not ask for this thing. But once when you know you got a God thing, you have to go along with the flow. Once when you know that God invaded your world and just shifting you from where you was going, you have to realize, God, what must I do? What are the instructions for this God thing that's on the inside of me? I can't look like everybody. I can't act like everybody else. I can't do this and that and the other. Why? Because what I'm carrying is valuable. It's not just for me. It's for the world. It's not just for me. It's for my family. It's not just for me. It's for my community. It's not just for me. It's for my job, because God told the lady, what I put in you, it's going to begin to deliver Israel.
Yes.
And the one thing that I do a lot, little hobbies I do. Married men, I tell married men, get a hobby, get your mind on some things so you can have yourself some time to think and relax. Get out, ordinary world. Everything is not. So I collect sports cars.
Oh, that's what's up.
It's my thing.
All right.
So I can collect a sport car that's worth $50, right? But if that car get damaged, the value on the car plummets.
Right.
A lot. So what we're trying to teach you today is stop damaging your God thing. Stop damaging your God thing. So put this down. Now I use this a lot. Protect, preserve, to present.
Come on.
Triple B.
Telling you, it's a process.
Yes.
Because in order for my car to be pristine, so when I have to present it to somebody, I had to protect it. I had to do certain things in order for it to remain at the level of value that it was. So I have to put casings and whatever it is to keep it from being creased to damage. Then by doing that, I preserve it through time. So when stuff do come along to damage it, it do not damage the car. It do not damage the thing. So because it's protected. So when I put it in a case, even if I drop it, my car won't be creased. It won't be damaged. I can pick it back up and say, whoo. So later on, it's preserved. So the protecting process is preserving something to present.
Yes.
So what are you talking about? A lot of you don't even know what you're carrying right now.
Right.
So when we telling you that this is how you have to operate and protect your life, we not telling you that just to stop you from having fun with what you would consider fun. And we're not stopping you. I'm hearing people putting out there, oh, they brainwashing you. Well, look at the pregnancy rate out there now. And tell me how the church brainwashing you if they telling you to wait for marriage. We have two different mindsets of the way we think about it. But come on now, let's not make one side sound like the demon. I'm walking around driving my car and I'm seeing women, I don't even see the men. They pushing the baby, they pushing like 3 kids walking around here. Well, what about the family?
Right. Go ahead.
So these are the things that we telling people in the church to protect yourself, protect your feelings, protect your emotion, because the things that you're carrying is a God thing. And there's one day God is going to call. It's going to be a call to present what He had placed inside of you. That's where the preserving comes forth, because it's going to be showtime. God is going to put lights. He's going to turn the lights, camera, and action on that God thing that you have on the inside of you. He's going to have lights, camera, and action about what He has placed inside of you. It's going to be lights, camera, and action. And you have to be ready to show up with what God has placed in you. You have to be ready. So what are you talking about? Because they got birth now. There's people sitting in the congregation that wrote books. There's someone that started their business. There's someone that started Black God. There's another one that said they want to start lit. All this is going on in a small congregation. These are babes that came in the door ready to birth something. So what are you trying to say? What I'm trying to say is now you have to put the value on the thing that you're about to birth or have already birthed. And by putting the value on it, now your standards have to increase to protect that thing.
That's good.
I needed that for them. So you have to have that to protect the thing. See, now we're fighting against, and this is only a trick of the enemy. Some words get popular, and then we get slow, and we follow something that sounds popular. We follow something that sounds good because it's a good tune, right? Whenever you hear someone say, and this is a big thing now. This is what everybody uses now. Muslims on down. Oh, all they want is the money. All they want is the money. That's all they say. This is their new thing now. All they want is money, but they spreading discord because they don't want no one else to come into the church. So they make it seem they try to mask like all the preachers want money. And I had to break it down to a person to let them know. I had to break it down to a brother. And he said, all they want is money, this, that, and the other. And I said, wait a minute, you got to be careful. See, this is what people need to hear about. And we'll be real quick with it so I can give a little teaching to help somebody. That's right. And I told him, I said, look, y'all talking about money. But when we talk about the money aspects of things, when you talk about a preacher, really he wasn't called for the money. Right. So I want people to be able to interpret this thing correctly. 2, nowadays preachers have the responsibility to be like businessmen. But mind you, I just split the two. We have to compartmentalize correctly. Right. So God gifted him to preach. A lot of them are failing because they're not gifted in the business side. Now, some of them should be smart enough to spread it along. We understand that. But there are some of them, and that's just a small spin that helps somebody out. Another thing, he was saying something, he said something I had to let him know. I said, now look, he said, why everybody talking about prosperity? I had to break it down to him. I said, now if you study church, see, because we got people speaking on things that's not in ministry, that's not in church, that's not, that don't like God, or won't say Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior. So they're going to come from different spins, so they should not be your leaders. Listen to how the president they said. So he was saying about, he got back on the prosperity thing. I told him, you have to realize that when black folks, when they first got saved, of course, if I sat up there and preach about heaven, it sounded real good to a slave that had no possibility of anything good happening to him here, right? So that would be a popular message, right? So, all right, so now we're no longer in slavery. That message is not going to fly with a Christian that's here making money. That's not going to fly with the new generation that's coming along and saying, hey, you preaching this, that, and the other. Well, I'm living to be 70. Right. So, all right, they shift to a prosperity message because it's more individual. That sounds more applicable to somebody that's in today's time because we're to help people out. All black folks are not broke.
Amen. Say it. I ain't.
All black folks are not broke. Because media spin things to the point where you would think all black folks are still broke. Right. We still act like we're the lowest on the table pole, and not understanding we spend the most money out of all nationalities. We can't say we broke and poor, and that's the message everyone preach. You can't say you broke and poor when your money is doing the opposite. Especially when you're spending more money than Caucasians that outnumbers us by millions. Spanish outnumbers by millions, right? So how can we just still want claiming broke? Something wrong with that. The trick of the enemy. It's called if I call you out of Egypt and you still got the mindset of Egypt, you will act like you're still there. Yes. Even if your location has changed, yes, you will still act like you're in Egypt because you kept the same mindset. It's time for our mindset to shift. So what I'm talking about is easy to preach prosperity now because people are living in prosperity. Yes. The black folks are living in prosperity, so that sounds good. So I'm breaking this down to people to let them know that now we have to shift our mind when everybody come with that craziness, and I love it. They like the preacher walking away with all the millions dollars. There's nowhere in the world that the preacher walking away with all the money, and he got a building about as big as my town. Can't. And then he cannot be the only millionaire in the church, and the church producing millions. Right. So that means God took somebody apparently that had nothing, and it had to be a blessing on their life to also increase to support something of that level, right? Yes. Just breaking this down so I can put this out to people to destroy myth. I love attacking, I call these myths. Let's attack these myths so we can quiet people down and even help our own people in the congregation, because it seems like we don't have an answer. We begin to fall to what they're saying. No, that is not true. That is not true. Everything is not negative. We are shifting into a whole nother level. And this is what we're talking about. Ministers is not going to look like ministers anymore. That's what we're talking about now. That's why now, when God is saying that, look, the holiness has to be on you now. And what you're carrying. The holiness has to be on you right now. Say, well, I don't have a collar. She did not ask for this holy thing. It came to her. She did not sit up there and say, I want this thing. But I'm here to tell you that God is invading your world. God is pulling people out. See, God is in the business right now. He's snatching people out of where they was. He's snatching. See, he's called. This is what you call a call. See, some people want to answer the call, but some people got snatched out of where they was going. Some people was headed a different way. See, but God is snatching you out. And look, and not only snatching you out, he's placing something inside of you. Yes. And to get us to this point, what's inside of you is valuable. This spiritual thing is valuable. And if I can get your mindset to raise to how important that God thing inside of you, that way you will walk at the same level of expectation that God will have you because of what you're carrying, because you're carrying a God thing. This is not something that was given to you by anybody in the world. This is not something, and I'm here to tell you, Samson messed this thing up, but God did not take it from him.
No, he did not.
He still used him.
Come on. He did not.
And in that scripture, he said he used him to continue to deliver, to begin to deliver them out of it. Because I never was able to connect the two. When I read Samson, I said, well, Lord, how in the world did he was able to deliver? And I'm here to tell you, when you start reading between chapter 13 and 16, you will find out that the Israelites was a little comfortable with the Philistines. Because anytime the son said, hey, I want that girl there, and she was a Philistine, and you was able to go there and hook that thing up, y'all was comfortable together. Yes. So even in his rebellion, he started causing problems with the Philistines that brought a disturbance where they was no longer comfortable with being together. And God, I'm praying that same disturbance in somebody today. See, because a lot of us, our spiritual and our sin nature are too comfortable together. So God, I'm praying for a disturbance. See, Samson went over there and started acting up. When they started doing things that Samson liked, he started killing them and started doing all kinds of things to cause problems. That began to cause that disturbance where we no longer get along. You know what? We just too comfortable right now. That man is a problem. What we going to do about him? But see, a lot of us are too comfortable like like that. We got our sin nature and our spiritual nature too comfortable. So we go in and out anytime we want to because we don't know the value of what God has inside of us. But I'm just trying to get someone to begin to fight. See, that's all it is. That once when you begin to fight back and protect your spiritual side, I'm here to tell you, you won't get stronger. The battles you lose today will not be the battles you lose tomorrow if you will fight. See, as long as you're comfortable, there's no fight in you because you think everything is cool. As long as you're comfortable with certain things, you don't have a problem with doing slipping in and out of something good, slipping back into something that's bad, slipping in and out. Why? Because we are friends. We are comfortable together. But what God is telling you, what's inside of you is too valuable. So now it's time for this disturbance to happen just to cause a rift in those things.
My God, my God.
So I challenge my brothers and sisters today.
Good word. Good word.
As we talked about Samson, protect, preserve, present.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
The way, the care you apply in the beginning determines what it will look like at the end. So a lot of you might be in your beginning stage. I'm here to tell you it's very important to start protecting what's valuable inside of you now. It's a God thing. You don't even understand it. But God took a barren woman womb, put a warrior inside of her. And that warrior inside of her was so valuable, he put a Nazarite vow on the mother just because of what she had inside of her. So because of how valuable Samson was, she had to carry something. She had to step up. She had to take on a vow too, because God's saying you don't understand what you got inside of you. So I'm here to tell someone today what you got inside of you. God's saying you need to step up to what I have placed in you, because this is going to deliver somebody. Wow. Someone. Somebody. So I'm here to encourage someone today. It's all about how you take care of this God thing now. Will determine what it will look like at the end. Samson brought the house down on himself. To me, it was a sad story. So, and in all Samson struggle, what I got out of Samson, it's one thing to not know, it's another thing to know.
Amen.
And still end up like that.
Yeah. Yep. Amen.
To be connected to a power source that could change your life forever, but yet you still struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
To have all the knowledge and the wisdom available to you, but yet still struggle. To have all the opportunities like windows open for you.
Amen.
And you still can't fit in one of the windows with all the opportunities. Then God get crazy. He put grace, mercy, and all these things he just surround you with. He set you up to make it. He set you up to succeed. And to still say, God, I can't, baffles me. Or to end up like Samson, who in all his strength and all his glory and his power brought the house down on himself. Now I know they took it as if it was the greatest, it was the greatest victory ever. I take that because God used that and still used that as he told him, but God backed his word up. You was to start the deliverance.
That's right.
He didn't say how I was going to look. He said you was to start it. You're going to start the deliverance.
Amen.
That's what started of his people. But I'm here to tell you, that don't have to be your story where you can bring the house down on yourself.
That's right.
When the whole time he knew what was able to keep his strength, his power. So what I'm here to tell someone today, be encouraged, be strong. Just a message to let you know about a God thing. The value of a God thing. The value of a